Good evening, everyone. Welcome to KPS Kanooni Kaksha. My name is Vaibhav Gupta, and I'm going to give a presentation on the Negotiable Instruments Act 1881. This presentation is going to be held in two parts. In part one, we'll be discussing about the overview of the Act, and in part two, we'll be discussing about the offense of dishonor of check. Let's go ahead. With the advent and increase in the promotion of cashless transactions in the economy, it becomes pertinently important to manage and facilitate those transactions, especially involving numerous financial instruments. Therefore, with this intention, the Negotiable Instrument Act was enacted in 1881 to address this need. The term instrument refers to a written document which prescribes certain kind of rights for a specific person, whereas the term negotiable means that this instrument can be transferred from one person to another. Hence, a negotiable instrument refers to a written document which prescribes ownership rights over a certain amount of money to a certain someone, whereas this ownership right can be transferred from one person to another. Under Negotiable Instruments Act, there are three kinds of negotiable instruments: promissory note, bills of exchange, and checks. Next, we have characteristics of negotiable instrument. As derived from the definition, these instruments has to have been in writing. Also, this instrument should also come with a specific time period mentioned in these instruments. A negotiable instrument is the most easiest and the most less cumbersome way to transfer money from one person to another. Just like time frame, a negotiable instrument should also contain the details of the payee. As discussed earlier, there are three kinds of negotiable instruments under the Negotiable Instruments Act. Those are promissory note, bills of exchange, and check. Section 4 of the Negotiable Instrument Act defines promissory note. A promissory note is merely a written document which prescribes a promise of a person that a certain amount of money will be paid to the other party on a specific date or on a specific period of time. Just like the characteristics as discussed earlier, a promissory note has to be in writing. The amount to promise to be paid has to be mentioned on the instrument. The promisor must sign the document, and the name of the payee has to have been mentioned on the document. Section 5 of the Negotiable Instrument Act defines bills of exchange. A bill of exchange is merely a document which facilitates the buyer to procure goods on credit from the seller and promises to pay this seller on a certain date or a specific period of time. This instrument was created to safeguard the interests of the sellers and to mitigate the risk of unpaid debts by the buyers. Just like promissory note, this instrument also has to be in writing. The name of the payee has to be mentioned in the document, and a specific time period has to be mentioned in the document. Next, the most commonly used negotiable instrument is check. Section 6 of the Negotiable Instruments Act defines check. A check is a document which instructs a bank to pay a certain amount of money from the account of the person issuing check in the name of the person to whom the check is issued. Just like other negotiable instruments, a check has to be in writing. It has to have a specific date. It has to be signed by the person issuing the check, and it has to be in the name of the person to whom the check is issued. Thank you. That's it for part one.